I'm Chris Ralph, the professional prospector, and I've been doing a series of videos on hints and tips and tricks and secrets of successful nugget detecting. Because, hey, let's be honest, finding a gold nugget is hard to do with a metal detector. It isn't easy, but the gold is out there and there are people making good finds. So I want you to know the tricks of the trade, so to speak, and this is my latest video on just that topic. So today's topic is, I've kind of brought you to a spot where I found probably close to 100 nuggets, all on the small side, I'll admit, within about 10 or 12 feet to this side of me and maybe 20 feet to the other side of me, just in a narrow strip along the edge of the hill behind me, the little rise behind me. Now, it was great when I found it, and that's one of the lessons that I want to go to today, and the things that go with it is gold tends to occur in what they call patches or in groups. If you have the geology that's right for one nugget to be present, then a lot of times there's the right geology also for more than one to be present, 2 or 5 or 20 or even 100. And so, you know, not many patches that I've found have 100 nuggets in them, but 5 or 10 or more is pretty common. So if you find a place where you find a nugget, you want to hit that site hard and make sure that you get all the gold out of it that you can. That's the whole point, is if you find a patch, you want to get all the gold that you can. And sure, the larger pieces closer to the surface will make a loud sound, but the rest of the pieces, the smaller stuff and maybe even bigger stuff down a little deeper, is going to be making faint target sounds, weak target sounds. And so you got to listen close to that. I actually did a whole video just on listening for weak target sounds. But part of the deal with working over a patch is to make sure that you cover every inch of it. Now there's a lot of different techniques for that, and one of the techniques they call gridding or chaining. And what people will do will make a marker. I mean, sometimes people use rocks. I've even seen people use little orange cones. Another possibility is what they call chaining. I did that in Australia. In areas like this where there's a lot of obstructions, chaining is hard. But if you're in the open area, like in a desert, it's pretty useful. And what they do is they take about a 6-foot length of heavy chain and tie a piece of rope to it, also about 6 foot long. And then we'll tie the rope. One end of the rope, of course, ties to the chain. The other end of the rope ties to your belt. Okay, and then you pull it behind you as you walk over an area. That chain leaves a mark on the ground as you drag over across. And that way you can see where you've been, and it literally marks the center line of the pass that you made. And a lot of times, one of the things that is important both with the cones or rocks or whatever you use, chains, is that you make a grid, that you have a set of lines that go back and forth across the area. Now, for a really small area like this, it wasn't so critical, but bigger areas, you know, having an organized grid to go across and cover every inch is really important. Another thing that you got to remember when you do these grids is that you need to overlap. Imagine underneath your coil, the sensitivity range of your coil, it generally goes in a sort of a V-like shape, or sometimes it's a U-like shape, but there's an area to the side that isn't as well analyzed by the detector. And if you get the V of one, and then you make another pass overlapping, you get the V of another, you'll see that there's a triangular area underneath the, even though the coils passed right next to each other, there's a triangular area underneath there that doesn't get detected very well. And so what you want to do is overlap, so that when you have one like this and the next one like this, you overlap in between them and you cover that V area as well as you can. That's important. Another important part of getting all the nuggets you can out of a patch is using different coils. I've had this happen to me. I've gone over an area very thoroughly, and then I came to it with a much larger coil. I had gone over it with a small coil, I had gone over it with a medium-sized coil, and I'd pretty much cleaned everything out. There weren't even any trash targets remaining. And I came in with a large, that coil was actually a 20-inch coil, and I went over the ground, and sure enough, I got a couple more targets. Now, one of them was down deep, it was a piece of trash. But another one that was down deep, I dug down, it was a deep half-ounce nugget. So, you know, that the 20-inch coil pretty much paid for itself that day, because I got a half-ounce nugget with it. And that's a really big thing.
I wanted to add a few more comments about coils. They come in all different kinds of sizes and shapes, and each of the sizes and shapes has their own specific reason for existence. In other words, its own advantages and disadvantages. Now you see the big coils there. Big coils tend to see bigger targets down deep. So if you want maximum depth, you want a larger coil. However, really small targets may be missed. In other words, smaller nuggets may be missed by big coils like this. The other advantage of a big coil is that it covers a large area. So when you swing a 20-inch coil, you've taken a 20-inch path that you covered with your coil. On the other hand, the small coils you see here, those coils are more sensitive to small objects. So small nuggets are better seen with small coils. So big coils see large objects deep, small coils see small objects but only shallow. So the depth achieved by a small coil is not nearly as deep as the depth achieved by a big coil. But like I say, you see smaller targets. So that's why I tell you that using different coils is an advantage, especially when you're working in a patch where you know there's a concentration of gold and you want to clean out every little bit of it. Now, in addition to shapes and sizes, they also come in different configurations on the inside. You see, a coil really is just a coil of copper wire or multiple coils of copper wire. This is a configuration known as a double D, even though one of the D's is backwards, right? You can see the D, but one is forward and one is backward. And with a double D type of a coil, the advantage is that it's much less sensitive to ground mineralization, and it's easy to pinpoint because the maximum sensitivity is in the overlap area in the middle. Actually, maximum sensitivity is up at the ends of the overlap, although the middle part is sensitive too. So this gives you just a little bit about coils and what they're made of and the different advantages and disadvantages of each one, and why I say that it's important to use different coils when cleaning out a patch.
So remember, try different size coils, as well as gridding. Gridding is an important thing. Trying different size coils. In fact, even different machines. Some machines will be sensitive to some types and sizes of gold, and other machines will be more sensitive to other types and sizes of gold. So going over an area, not just with different coils, different accessory coils, but with different machines will sometimes yield additional gold. And like I say, when you find a patch, when you come onto a patch, you want to get all the gold that's there out, because the gold is valuable. So that's pretty much my lesson for today. And if you want to learn more about prospecting and finding more gold and being successful as a prospector, both in panning and all sorts of other things, as well as metal detecting for gold, then check out my book. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that book right now.
Okay, so I wanted to tell you a little bit more about my book. I wanted to be able to share the knowledge that I've gained about finding gold and how to be successful. And so I spent years literally writing this book, Fistful of Gold. It's more than 350 pages long, which is why I say it's an encyclopedia of everything you need to know about finding your own gold. I've sold more than 8,000 copies and I've got a lot of really great feedback on it. It just is the most complete book on the market. It has information about finding gold that literally is not available in any other book that you're going to find for prospectors, because I took technical stuff from geologists and other mineral scientists, and I've translated that into language that the average guy can understand. You don't need a PhD to go out and find gold, but the information that scientists have learned over recent decades can be of a lot of help to people. So it's in this book. If you're interested about finding gold, panning, sluicing, nugget detecting, dry washing, the geology of gold deposits and how they form, it's all in here. And like I say, it's more than 350 pages long. So if you'll just go to the description underneath this video, you can take a look. I've got a link in there to take you to Amazon, to the site where the book is sold. And I think you'll really enjoy it. Take a look at all the people who've commented on this and have really liked the book. It has a very, very high rating for a book. And also, I have a website, my own free website that you can take a look at. I've got all kinds of information on here about doing research and how to find gold, a lot of good information, stuff that basically couldn't fit into my book. And so I put it on this website, and I have a link also for that in the video description. So take a look in the description and you can click on the link and it'll take you to my website. And finally, if you like this presentation, I've got a lot more coming out. Here's a 3.5 ounces of gold that I found a couple of years back in one area. I've got a lot more of these videos coming on gold, gemstones, hard rock, placer, a lot of metal detecting. There'll be lots of metal detecting stuff. So if you really enjoyed this, click the subscribe button and then tick the notification bell off, and YouTube will let you know when I publish new stuff. And hit the like button as well. And please comment on these videos, because I'm interested in what you have to say, and I promise to answer any questions you have. So if you are wondering about anything, or think maybe I didn't cover something thoroughly enough in a video, then let me know, and I'll be happy to try and help you out and give you whatever information you need. So thanks a lot, and hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you again real soon.